Good morning. Welcome to BSP Live. You're with Rob Dorey and Craig Connolly once again. And today we are going to look at part 8, which is on the slide here, which I'm about to put up. Good morning, Rob. How are you?
Morning, Craig.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Ready to go. Rightio. So I'll put the slide up, Rob. Maybe you can just talk about these last two.
What we'll do is we're building. So we've come across now, we're almost to the end of the planning stage and the elements of the plan. And there's two parts of this in the game that we're playing here. One is understanding these things and then applying them to your business opportunity. So we've done the strategic stuff. We've moved across the bottom. We had clarity on product and service, marketing and sales. We covered people in the last one. I'm going to cover today system and process and finance and reporting as one session. So we'll start with the system and process, Craig. So basically what's going on there is in your existing business today and the business that you're going to create, the system and process part of that is a sort of like a backroom facilitation supporting thing. If you're going to really do great things with your business and take your $1 million business and make it a $3 million business, there's a system and process question, but there will also be probably some system and process things that you need to do. And so when we talk about system system can be as simple as your zero accounting, right? Quite often in a lot of businesses, there will be something in the area of project management, where you have projects or you have products you're producing or something, and it could be the system that is supporting that process. In the sales and marketing perspective, there could be a sales system, customer relationship management system, where you're managing your sales relationship. Quite often in a growing business, we use the same concept of a sales funnel and call it a business development funnel. And that's a process tool. And so we don't have time to go through and actually do these, but the trick is to understand and be asking those sort of questions and going through, and it's very, very simple. This is the day of Google and all that sort of stuff. If you look at business development funnel or sales funnel or CRM or accounting system and things, but the trick is to do a scan of where you're at and where you want to go. And the beauty of the vision part, particularly in this area, if you've got a business that you're wanting to triple, it makes no sense to put in a system to run the business today. Be thinking about the business that you're creating. What sort of a system do I need to run and to create that business? And that's what this whole bubble is all about.
Okay, great. So what is the best approach for an SME to sort of get into it? I mean, it's obviously, is it very similar to the...
For those that have been following, it's the same. Just start,
Just
create a
make
bit
a
of
start,
a map, create a bit of a map, go to school in terms of learning what things are. And, if I'm uttering the word business development, you may not know what that means, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Go to work and ask, what is business development? Well, business development is bringing on board new clients, new partners, new strategic partners, all those sort of things. Those are business development activities, creating distribution network beyond your sales network, all sorts of things like that are all part of it. And there's tools and processes and simple ways to manage those. And what the tools do is increase the probability of executing well, and they allow you to channel your energy into the key strategic things. So basically, system and process, there's a question and a puzzle there for you to work on. Finance and reporting is really more into the scorecard part of things. At a high level, really basic things, profit and loss, balance sheet, profit and loss, something like Xero or MYOB or QuickBooks or whatever you're happening to. If you're not using one of those three in your system and process, you're probably going to make a change because those are ones that are really common. If you've got something else that's doing it well, great. But the test is going to be reporting. It isn't doing the accounting. And the reporting, so the fundamentals of this reporting piece are you want to be able to look at trended numbers. So if you take profit and loss, you're going to want to be able to look back at your profit and loss. You're going to want to look back and understand the concept of gross profit or gross margin, and the difference between cost of goods sold and revenue, and matching cost of goods sold to revenue, so that if you've got revenue in July, you want to match your revenue in July with your cost of goods sold in July. Even though you pay for the cost of goods sold in August, you want to know July, because you want to produce a result in July that if you made $10,000, you want that to reflect the result. And if you lost $10,000, you want that to reflect the result. If you don't match those costs, you can say, well, I lost $10,000, but really that's because I had June's costs in July and all those sort of things. So there's some work to do in this thing to understand where you're at. And if you're nowhere, that's not the end of the world. The trick is you got to go to school. You've got to learn and understand and create simple reporting. So the financial reporting is really basic. It's profit and loss, it's revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating expenditures, and those sort of things. The second part of the operating expenditure, we have something that we call quick wins analysis, where we'll look down on the bottom and, are there some near-term quick wins in this business to reduce some cost elements or do something. So you might want to have or get somebody external to have a look down below at some of those things. Do they say anything? Now, the other part of reporting isn't just financial, it's non-financial. So I have a saying, which is you cannot measure, or you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So when you're doing some of your other things, your marketing things, like in the work that we do with you, Craig, is search engine optimization, digital lead generation, all that sort of stuff. Well, we create measures for that. And simple measures can be website hits per month, or as we were talking yesterday, the difference between organic traffic and paid traffic and referral traffic, and are those numbers moving? And so in this part of reporting, the trick is to trend those numbers and track them. And quite often you can go back and rebuild the last 6 months, and as you start to do things, are the numbers you're tracking, are they moving? Are they moving in the right direction, moving in the wrong direction? If they're not moving in the right direction, okay, they're not moving in the right direction. Right, what can we do? Obviously, what we're doing isn't working, or isn't working yet sometimes in the work with you, but it can be in any part of the business. The key things, and you don't want to create 200 measures, but you don't want to create no measures. So, the non-financial measures, you want to probably have 5 or 10. And they vary by business, but quite often they will be. There could be some in the people area, but there will always be some in the marketing and sales area. And it's those things, and you create that picture of that. You can start to see now, if you bring the slide up, Craig, the business model slide. Yeah, when you look at this thing now, we've been through this whole thing, and we've now ripped this business apart, and we've rebuilt it, and we've got a whole bunch of things that we can do down in this area. And the next one, we're going to talk about the master task log, because we'll explain how when you go through the operating elements, you end up creating a lot of projects, probably in most businesses, 20 to 30 things that you could do. Well, you can't manage 20 or 30 things, but we've got a system which enables you to do that. And we're going to show that in the next presentation.
Fantastic, Rob. I think the biggest thing I'm taking away from all these interviews with you is that this is a process that takes a bit of time, and it's not something that happens overnight. So you've just got to keep applying, and having a format to use to apply these things is incredibly valuable.
Yeah, and this is our structure, and that's why we're sharing it with everybody. There's other ways you can do it, but you're right. The key thing is it's a journey. It's a time. If you hold to it, you will get the results. And if you need help getting results, get help. But the bottom line is, work through these processes, and it'll make, as we said, the introduction to this whole thing, change your business, change your life in the SME space, small to medium-sized business space. it's true. You know, if your business goes extremely well, it shows up in your life. So good.
Well, that's fantastic, Rob. Well, thank you once again. That was very, very informative, and we will look forward to chatting again soon.
No, very good. Thanks, Greg.